Marauders for the Month by lishiee. Chapter 27. The Grand Sleepover. So, what'd you see? Remus asked Lily as she took her seat at their normal desk. They hadn't had time to talk to each other since she caught James in the regulus. More than I needed to, she huffed, collapsing further into the chair. How do you think Sirius is going to react when he finds out? Remus considered this for a few seconds, fluttering the pages of his book. Lily imagined that very question was going through James's mind every day. Theoretically, Sirius should be happy for his best friend, but it's also about his brother. To Lily, this whole situation felt like a muddle of feelings that she didn't want to see fly free. Depends on how he finds out. I'd rather they tell him instead of him just finding out on accident. At this point, I already know he's going to feel hurt they didn't tell him first, no matter his other feelings about the relationship. Remus sighed. The book fell shut with a thump. Merlin, you're so right, Lily grimaced. She did not want to be present for that. Sirius's loud laughter boomed from the back of the classroom, making both of them glance back at the group. He had James in a headlock, ruffling his hair while Peter and Marlene watched, matching grins on their faces. The two boys looked so happy. Is it Regulus who doesn't want to tell him? Lily asked. James finally pried Sirius off him and pulled his wand out to point at him. I think it's equal parts both of them, Remus sighed, watching Sirius grin fondly. This whole thing felt like a storm brewing. Well, keep me out of it, Lily murmured. Remus chuckled wryly before turning back around to the front. He knew Lily was right to want to stay out of it, clear by the crease between his brows. She lightly patted his shoulder, giving him a comforting smile while pulling her things out. Defense against the dark arts was relatively calm, aside from the usual interruptions from the boys in the back. The whole time, Lily was itching to get out and see Pandora again, or at least be free from class. With a little over 2 months left of school, Lily was finding it harder and harder to keep her motivation. She just wanted freedom, and Pandora gave her that. She was in the middle of doodling a line of hearts when class ended, having to pack up all her stuff briskly so she wasn't left behind. Marlene happily walked her to astronomy, chatting away before wandering off to find Dorcas with a small wave. Pandora was sat at the back as always, gorgeous smile on her face. At the sight of the girl, Lily relaxed. Hi. Hi, my love. Lily felt herself melt. She took her seat next to Pandora and got ready for class. Thinking about it, Lily had never truly realized how distracting it would be to be seeing someone. Now that she thought about it, she wasn't sure what they were. It really didn't matter to her though, as long as they were something. Either way, the entire class, Pandora would lightly brush her with her pinky or blow cool air in her direction. Lily could barely stay focused for a few seconds, even less when Pandora's fingers started walking across her thigh. Anytime she snapped her head over to the girl, Pandora flashed an innocent look, never stopping her wandering hands. It was torture. That was why she had said she wasn't dating till after school. Anytime Pandora flashed her smile though, it all felt worth it. It had been only 24 hours since they first kissed, but it felt like an eternity. Being with Pandora was an instinct. They were always meant to share small moments together in their own little bubble separate from the world. Lily would be forever grateful. Once class was over, Lily hopped out of her seat and made her way to the halls, with Pandora right on her heel. Looping their arms together, Lily felt like an absolute fool the way she blushed. Against the wall, Mary and Marlene were propped up waiting for them. Mischievous smiles crept on their faces at their interlinked arms. "All right, lovebirds, let's go," Marlene chirped, clapping her hands with a bit of urgency. "Are you really want to talk?" Mary sneered. Marlene stuck her tongue out, at which Mary shot her finger out to promptly pinch it. "What the fuck?" Marlene snapped, rubbing her tongue and glaring at the girl. Mary arched her eyebrow, waiting impatiently and waving Marlene on. "Where are we going?" Pandora asked. "The dorm." Mary picked at her nails impatiently. "To do what?" Lily asked, waiting for an actual answer. "For a sleepover, of course." Marlene threw her hands up with pure joy. "A sleepover, of course." Pandora sat cross-legged behind Mary on the girl's bed, hands intertwined in her curls. Half of her head was already done in a little under a dozen of braids, with her bangs flowing freely. Mary had her eyes shut and was chatting away. Pandora looked content to listen, nodding her head along and whispering a response every once in a while. Lily and Marlene were observing the two of them off to the side from Marlene's bed, laid on their stomachs and listening along to the ABBA vinyl Mary had insisted on putting on. It wasn't until the starting notes of Knowing Me, Knowing You that Marlene spoke up. "So, what's your plan with James?" Marlene asked. She folded her hands against the bed and glanced at Lily through her hair. She hadn't thought about it too much yet, only having time for a fleeting thought here and there. The knowledge that Pandora planned on roping in Evan, and more than likely Barty, made Lily think about bringing in Regulus as well. He could definitely have a stake in getting back at James. Telling Marlene that without giving the boys' relationship away would be a bit difficult, though. "I'm roping in a certain someone to help me with it. I might make James go on a scavenger hunt or something like that person is lost. He'll lose his fucking shit." Marlene arched an eyebrow, suddenly more interested in Lily's plan. "Are you really going to leave me hanging like that?" Marlene whined, when Lily didn't elaborate. She dropped her head to the bed when Lily smiled and nodded her head. "Yes." Ugh. Lily reached over and ruffled Marlene's hair as the girl groaned into the bed sheets. "What are you going to do?" Marlene sighed exasperatedly before pushing herself back up to smirk at Lily. "Pete's going to have a little fan club following him around all day. I had to check out some of my bribing money to the fourth-year girls to get them to agree, but it'll totally be worth it," Marlene sniggered. Lily nodded her head, imagining poor Peter running from a group of ruthless teenage girls. "Do you know what Mary's up to?" "Not sure, but she's gone around telling everyone to flat out ignore Sirius on Friday or else." Marlene shrugged, rolling over onto her back. "Well, great." Marlene chuckled in agreement. Neither Mary nor Pandora had given up what they were planning on doing Friday. Lily felt like they should each have a general idea of everyone's plans, but the girls weren't budging. The only response she or Marlene ever got was a smirk or a laugh. "Lily, you're up." Mary smacked her thighs and hopped up. The two girls switched places, and Lily let herself lean back a bit more into Pandora than Mary had been. Once Pandora's hands touched her hair, Lily felt herself ease up. She gently began to braid her thick hair into a plait, fingers nimble. "So, who you been sneaking off to shag?" Marlene asked out of nowhere, nudging Mary's shoulder. The two girls were now cozied up next to each other, like they always had been for the past 6 years. Lily tilted her head ever so slightly to get a glimpse at Mary's face. "No one?" Lily swore she saw a faint blush paint itself on her cheeks, hidden behind an annoyed look. "Can I have 3 guesses?" Mary considered for a moment before nodding her head smugly and holding up 3 fingers. "Jonathan?" Mary flipped a finger down. "Miles?" Mary flipped another finger down, wiggling her remaining finger. The middle finger, of course. She looked ever so smug, very confident she was going to win this game. The look on Marlene's face said otherwise. "Emmeline Vance," she said very slowly, a grin growing with each syllable. Mary's smile dropped immediately. Flush, burning brat. Marlene reached over and folded the last finger down. Wait, seriously? Lily gasped, whipping her head so fast she felt a tug on her hair from where Pandora was holding it. She winced while Pandora gently massaged her scalp. I fucking hate you, Marlene. The three girls burst into laughter while Mary glared at Marlene and playfully hit her. For the next 30 minutes, Mary was hounded with questions. Even though Marlene had guessed it, she was still in the dark like the rest of them. When Mary was finally out with all of it, they all sat there gobsmacked, jaws agape. This was the first time Mary kept a secret all to herself. Now that you mention it, Lily started after thinking about it. She had been with you when you let us out of the bathroom. Pandora nodded her head in agreement. Mary only smiled, throwing a few braids behind her shoulder and pushing herself up. I'm just mysterious, she shrugged. The girl sauntered over to her vanity and pulled out a few bottles of nail polish before walking to the middle of the room and sitting down. She made eye contact with Marlene, who smiled softly at her, and stood up to sit with her. A moment passed where they spoke to each other without really speaking, like they always did. To Lily, it seemed like something was finally resolved between the two of them. Pandora quickly finished Lily's plait, tying it off with a hair tie so she could tug her down to the floor. Mary tossed a bottle of light blue nail polish to Lily before bunkering down to paint Marlene's toenails. Lily took the bottle and carefully laid it on her stomach, beckoning Pandora over to do the same. Pandora gently placed her hand in Lily's and leaned on the other. So what's your plan, love? Lily flushed slightly, still not used to the nickname. She carefully painted one of her nails before answering. I haven't talked to him yet, but I'm planning on wrangling Regulus in, she smiled, pushing the brush into the bottle to get more nail polish. Pandora hummed in amusement, eyes crinkling. They sat in silence for a while, Pandora staying completely still while Lily focused on painting her nails. She could feel the girl's eyes on her at all times, blazing a path all over her skin. You're cute when you're focused. Honestly, Lily felt like the girl was trying to make her flush as bright red as her hair. It was embarrassing. Oh, hush, Lily mumbled, glancing up to look at her. Their eyes connected and Lily got lost in her eyes. The blue almost matched the nail polish, making it pop even more. It was going to be gorgeous. Marlene, if you try to touch my face with your foot again, I'm going to snap it in fucking half. Lily was yanked out of her trance and started laughing, still keeping her eyes on Pandora. The other girl's laugh was the most beautiful thing she'd ever seen. After a long night of gossiping, getting tipsy and smoking enough weed between the four of them to fill the whole room with smoke, Lily and Pandora cuddled up next to each other on Lily's bed. From her side, Lily could just make out the outlines of Mary and Marlene laying on top of each other, still on the floor. Thankfully, Mary had been sober enough to slip her bonnet on so they wouldn't have to hear complaining in the morning about her hair being an absolute mess. What do you think about? Pandora whispered into her neck, inching closer so their bodies were flush. Lily wrapped an arm around the girl's shoulder, tucking her in even closer. Nothing. Everything, Lily whispered into the dark. Pandora had cast a silencing charm, so even if the other girls were awake, they wouldn't be able to hear them. They truly were in their own bubble. About what you said the other day, Lily started, bringing her hand up to rifle through Pandora's braids. When you said Regulus was always looking at James, you were looking at me. Pandora hummed, pressing a kiss to Lily's neck. Well, what do you mean by it? The hot air that shot out of Pandora's mouth from her laughter made a shiver shoot up Lily's spine. Isn't it obvious, yeah? Lily lightly tugged on one of Pandora's braids as she continued to giggle. You know that's not what I mean. You know that's not what I meant. Lily whined exasperatedly. Eventually, Pandora's laughter died down, lips pulling into a small smile that Lily could feel against her neck. Well, I already knew who you were, seeing you in the halls and such, but I'd never really seen you, Seen you, until Regulus dragged me along. Pandora whispered, keeping it between just the two of them. After that, I started noticing you more, always seeing flashes of red hair around the school. It was distracting, if I'm being honest. The worst part was that I was friends with all of your friends. So close to you, yet so far. Knowing that Pandora had noticed her long before they truly met left a strange feeling in her stomach. How would she never notice the girl right in front of her? Pandora nuzzled in before continuing. When you finally noticed me that first day, it felt absolutely amazing. The way you couldn't take your eyes off me made my skin buzz. It was like someone was finally seeing me for the first time. Lily's breath hitched. It took her a while to think of a response, so she resorted to drawing light circles on the girl's arm. There was only one thing she could think of, one thing to whisper into the darkness. I'm glad, she whispered, snaking her hands down and under Pandora's chin to lift it up. The girl beamed up at her, eyes sparkling. She pressed small kisses all over her lips, making Pandora fall into a fit of giggles. Once both girls were too tired to whisper sweet nothings or press light kisses into skin, they dozed off in each other's arms. Lily finally felt like her future wasn't looking so bad. Okie dokie, thanks for listening. Why am I recording at like 11 o'clock? I don't know, honestly. Yeah, no, it's like quarter to midnight. Fun. I meant to record some more earlier, but then I didn't, because I made like cookies. Anyway, I'm actually really tired. But thanks for listening. Bye-bye.